Okay, so let's begin. Everybody can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so where were we last time? We wanted to move the cube from one point to another point. The reason being, this is like a basic thing, how to work with the positions on timely manner. Okay, so let's get a quick recap. This was the movement of the cube, and we wanted to have it smoothed out from positions to positions. All right, so
Yes, sir.
what we are going to do is, so in this way, we are just transforming into, we are just teleporting from point A to point B. All right, so here what we are going to do is we just going to update the positions in a in the interpolation techniques. Do anyone know what is interpolation? Any idea? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, do anyone knows what are the interpolation techniques? Any idea regarding that?
Sir, it's like uh, uh, measuring distance between 2 points.
Hmm. Yes. So, based on that, the measurement of the distance between 2 points. So, we are going to split those measuring points from the distance real time. So what we are going to do is, from point A to point B, we are going to divide those equivalent points. All right, so on those equivalent points we are going to interpolate from point A to point B. So let's say point A has a certain distance towards the point B, and we'll just divide it every individual equivalent distance with that, and based on that we are going to move forward with it. It looks complicated, but it's very simply doable in Unity with just 2 to 3 lines of code. So, and also, like, there are techniques of interpolation, how it is done, like it is sign in, sign out, or in a linear format, so which basically Unity provides by default. Okay, so while doing this, just let me just make it a better view, so that we can have a clear view. So what I'm going to do is, I'll just change the color in the camera. Okay, so in the camera I'll change the environment from skybox to solid color. Okay, and from solid color I'll just make it cyan color. Okay, so here in the environment, in the camera settings, you can change the uh,
Colors.
colors. All right, so now I'll also change the color for plane as well. I'll change the color for the plane. So what I'll do is, I'll create a new material inside a folder material, and inside create, I'll create a new material for plane, so I'll simply write floor, and I'll just simply change the color to plain white. And in the plane I'll just replace the default material to floor material like this. Okay, so this is plain white. And similarly for the cube as well, I'll change the color of the cube to another color. And simply I'll just have it a bit of a red color. Okay, so it will be clearly visible. Okay, so now in order to have a movement from point A to point, we will be using interpolation techniques. And in that interpolation technique, what we are going to do is we can use update method for that. Okay, we can use update method, but I'll simply use IEnumerator for this, or you can simply call coroutine for this. Okay, so for this I'll just simply replace this code with while loop. So what will be the statement is that on while loop, okay, on the while loop I'll have to check if my cube has reached to the certain positions or not. So to check the positions, to check how much distance is remaining, you need to have a magnitude. Okay, so with this will simplify towards complicated vector 3 each axis. So in order to have it a magnitude, there is a function which Unity provides. Okay, it provides the quite literal way that it will give you a distance in a particular units. So it will give you, so there is a method called vector3 dot distance. Okay, so it takes two parameters. All right, two parameters, vector3, and it will return us a float. Okay, it will return us a float. So we'll simply follow this technique. Okay, so distance, so our distance would be distance vector3 dot distance. Okay, so what we need to check, so how will we going to check this? So this is our cube, so where the script is attached, this moment script is attached, this moment. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to take this cube's position from transform. Okay, and we'll compare it with the existing any of the selected one. Okay, any of the selected one. So for example, we are going to check transform, okay, position with the index of first position, so where the cube will travel. So for example, let's say this is the first position. Okay, this is the first position. Okay, the selected one is this one and this one, so it will calculate the distance. Okay, so that will be our barrier to have a continuous loop. Okay, to have a continuous loop until the cube reaches to that particular position. All right, So I will do it. So we'll write transform dot position, and this is already for loop. Okay, we are already inside the for loop, so we have to get current index of that positions. So current index of the positions is something like positions of I of position. Okay, so positions is what? Transform. Okay, so we are getting the item from array, from transform array, and just we simply getting the position of it. So what vector 3 does is it simply calculates the distance between 2 points, okay, irrespective of x, y, and z. Okay, so it will give you a perfect distance on that basis. Okay, it will give you distance on that basis. So we'll check the distance between 2 points and travel that cube to that particular point. So this will be our common thing. So now I will write while loop. So do make sure this while loop, it runs until the statement is satisfied inside it. Okay, so it matches the statements. It's same as if statement. It is same as if statement. Okay, if the condition satisfied, it will keep looping. Okay, it won't exit until the condition, okay, dissatisfies. Okay, so it won't, it will still it will keep going until it persists. All right, so in our case, our logic would be, okay, our logic inside while loop, it will be vector 3 dot distance, vector 3 dot distance. Okay, and now it is giving an error. Okay, why? Because it is giving you a number, and while it is asking for a condition, it is not asking for a number, it is asking for a condition. Okay, so what will be the prior condition? So the position should be
less than or equal to 0.
no, it should be greater than 1. Okay, it should be greater than 1. Okay, it should be greater than 1. If it is greater than 1, it will keep looping inside it. It will keep looping inside it. Alright, the reason being, if it is less than 1, the condition will never satisfy. It will keep exiting the loop. It will
Yes,
exit
sir.
the loop.
Yes, yes. And
Alright. So in that way, what we're going to do is we simply interpolate it towards the position. Okay, so same way, previously we wrote transform dot position is equal to positions of I of position. Okay, so now what we're going to write is, again we'll write transform dot position is equal to vector 3. Now there are two modes, one is lerp and one is move towards. So first we'll go with the move towards. Okay, so first parameter, which is our current parameter, it is showing that current what? Our own position. Okay, so it will be our own position. So our own position will be again transform dot position, and later where we want to move to this position. Okay, okay, now it will simply ask what will be the iteration, like how much it should divide. Okay, so interpolation, how much it should divide with that distance. So I'll simply write speed into time dot delta time. The higher it will be, the more faster it will travel. okay, from point A to point B. And another thing, on while loop, it won't wait for next iteration, and we want it to be, waiting for each and every individual frame. Okay, so each and every individual frame, it will, you have to wait. Okay, so here I'll write yield return null. So what this does is, it will wait for that frame. Okay, if you don't write this, your Unity might get stuck. So this is very important. Your Unity might get stuck because it will go to, very fast loops, and eventually it will, go to the dead loops. Okay, so your Unity might get stuck, or your laptop might get stuck. So you might need to, work very carefully with while loop. Okay. So it will wait for every frame. Okay, this will wait for the end of the frame. Okay, yield return null will wait for every end of the frame. Okay, so on each frame it will move towards that particular position. All right, so let's try, and again with the same logic. If I is equal to 3, 3 means the last index of the positions, this positions of the positions array. Okay, so it will get to -1, and with that it will increment and get to 0 again. So it will keep rotating in a smoother way. All right, so let's try. You see, it is moving in a loop in a gradual way. Okay, so in order to fix this, cube getting uh, partially inside this, the plane, what we are going to do is, we just simply, change the positions of it. Okay, simply change the positions of that. By just panning it above a bit, and we'll check positions. The first one should be 0.5. Every game object should be 0.5, because the size of our cube is 1 unit, the scale is 1. Okay, so half of it. Okay, and also verifying the positions if they are correct. Right. Okay, so I've placed it in equivalent positions. So -5 and 5, 5 and 5, 5 and -5, -5 and 5. Okay, let's try again, and you might see I have also added 1 second after each cube positions. Okay, we can reduce that as well. 0.2 f. Why f? Because it is a float. Float is always defined with the f at the end of number. Right, let's check. You can see this is moving in a hexagonal or not following that particular path. Okay, the reason being because it is checking above 1 unit. We don't need to check above 1 unit, we need to check above zero point 0.1 unit. Okay, all right, so let's try again, so it will be more precise by now. Okay, see, this is more precise by now, giving an error of 0.1 which is negligible, so it should work for us. All right, any doubts till now?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'll commit this code for now.
See, I have a question.
Yes.
Will this lecture be actually be redone like in person, like on Saturdays?
Sorry. Hello.
Will this lecture be redone on Saturdays? Because there's something like on the previous like lectures that I'm not understanding actually when setting up my unit.
Yeah, actually, I have pre-recorded my sessions for previous lectures, so it will be uploaded.
Okay.
So it will be uploaded soon. Okay. And meanwhile, I'll
Okay. Okay.
also provide the links as well if you want. Today itself, I'll share the drive link. Okay. So the previous
Yeah,
lectures.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You can share today. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. I'll share with you today. Uh, and also I'm going to share my GitHub link, so should be uh, just a second.
Okay.
Okay, please note this. I have pinned this in the chat. You can, you know, make a bookmark to have a, the project access with you. Okay, so the
Okay.
latest
Thank you.
codes will be also available over here. Right. All right, so any doubts till here, anyone?
No, sir.
All right, so okay, so now another thing. Okay, the another thing, uh, do anyone knows how navmesh, what is the AI and navmesh thing in Unity? Anybody?
नेविगेशन में लाइक वो
Nav,
पाथ बनाते हैं, फिर वो पाथ पे एनपीसी चलता है, वही ना?
yes, the navigation systems, the navmesh thing. So the AI traversal, A star, pathfinding algorithm, those kind of things.
हाँ सर, पता है थोड़ा। यूनिटी में नहीं पता, लेकिन पता है।
All right, okay, so in forward lectures we are also going to do that. Okay, and so this is it, and now uh, we'll have another things for the UI. Okay, UI, anyone knows like how the UI system works, like in Unity? UI? All right. Based on that, I didn't got any answer. So, all right. So we'll start with the basics of UI then. Okay, how to do an anchoring and those kind of things. I'm pretty sure you might be not be aware with that, right? How to do the anchoring part on different aspect ratios and those kind of things.
सेंटर एंकर फिर वो टॉप कॉर्नर
Yes.
थोड़ा बहुत पता है सर.
Okay, so you have learned on same Parul online lectures or somewhere else?
नहीं सर, मैं बनाता हूँ गेम, अभी भी बनाता हूँ. मैं गोडॉट यूज करता था, आपको बताया था पहले.
Yes, yes. What about others?
So you're asking for a user interface.
Yes, and the user Unity interface, user interface.
Okay. Me, I'm not familiar with Unity interface, but on making apps, not in Unity.
All right. Okay, so we'll start with the Unity interface today as well. So that is also the crucial part for the. So meanwhile, like you guys are good with the basics of transforms, correct? The transform, how to manipulate those transform, how to attach those scripts. For those guys who have not attended the previous lecture, I have the I have the sessions for that, uh, the video sessions. Okay. All right, so we'll start with the UI. Okay, so how it is done. Okay, so we'll just start. Okay, so in order to start with the UI, the buttons and the text, the interface, the images, all those kind of things, Unity provides a bunch of tools inside it, so we can simply get going with that. It is pretty much very simple. Rather than other programming language, you need to write this code to make it visible, like HTML or Flutter or any other React. So in Unity, it solves the extra hassle of creating, managing and those kind of things. It makes it pretty much easier to handle the UI. Okay, so for that, um, to get started with the UI, you need to have, okay, so let me create another scene, so it will be more cleaner to make it visible for you guys. So I'll create another scene. So in the scenes folder, I'll simply right click, create. Under the scenes menu, I'll hit scene, so it will create a new scene. You can just rename it. For now, I'll create UI basics. Okay, so this is our entire new scene. Those things which the cubes and other things were there in that were in another scene, which is in sample scene. Okay, so I've created another scene. You can just simply to switch to that particular scene, you can just directly double click it. Okay, so in order to have an UI, so again I'll change the background, or maybe I don't need to change the background. Simply delete the light. Main camera will persist. Okay, as usual. And to get started with UI, make sure you have your own aspect ratio which you are targeting on, maybe on horizontal or vertical, whichever you are preferable with, and based on that particular game. So for now we'll go for horizontal aspect ratio. Okay, for now I just have only this one. These are my custom which I'm already made by myself. Okay, if you want to have a custom aspect ratio, you can simply click plus over here on game window, on as aspect ratio, and click plus. You can set your own custom, these are the resolution. So by default it is 10 and 10. And if you are targeting for mobile games, so the basic one shall be 1920 by 1080, whichever it is. Okay, so I'll just click OK. So it will change that aspect ratio to 1920 x 1080. All right, and you can also change from game to simulator. Okay, so you can have a multiple you know devices to check on. So I can also select iPhone 12, and with this rotation I can simply make it landscape. Also it provides a safe area. For some people who might not be knowing what is the safe area, so safe area is something on the device level which doesn't needs UI to be rendered on, because that's not a good practice. Okay, so safe areas is something where our UI will land. Okay, so majorly our most of the UI should be under the safe area if you are targeting on the mobile devices. So safe area is something. So see, on the mobile devices you can see there is a notch over here, there is a notch over here. So we don't want our UI to be you know our so basically what the mobile phone does is they render every part, but this part is not getting rendered. Okay, so user won't be able to see this. Okay, but on the Unity side or the mobile side it is still getting rendered. Okay, so those are the missing pixels over here. Okay, from the phone side, but not on the Unity side. So let me give you an example. Okay, so for that, working with the UI on the scene thing, you need to click on 2D over here. You can see a small 2D over here. Okay, here it is strike through, but if you click it, it will get on the UI. Okay, if I created an image, okay, so you will see two elements have created inside it, inside the scene. One is canvas where our UI will render. Make sure each and every UI should be under canvas. That's a mandate thing. If I move the image out, it won't render, it won't work. Okay, also other thing which you going to see in UI elements, this is also a game object, but this game object doesn't have a transform, but it does have a transform, but it is modified transform. And you can also you can tell this is a rect transform. So rect transform behaves differently. Okay, this behave differently based on the pivot points and its anchor points. Okay, so I'll get brief into it. So let's say we have some buttons which will be on left side. Okay, which will be on left side. On the scene you can see that the the image, this is an image is over here, but half of our image is getting cut out. Okay, so what happens is that our safe area comes into the place. So in order to see the safe area on each and every devices, okay, you can simply click over here. You will see a safe area, you will see a safe area. All right, so our UI should be under this. Okay, under this area. For other phones you can see the safe area, it is over here, but on the iPhone it is here. Okay, so our majorly UI should be under that area. Okay, So this is an image. Okay, if you see, there is a rect transform, the canvas renderer, and an image component. So most of the time we're going to play with this and this. Okay, you can see some random numbers over there. Those random numbers, if I reset it, it will go to center. Okay, so first is the positions, which is also based on the anchor points. Okay, the anchor points, and this is the pixel size of that particular image, or maybe the game object, you can say. Okay, the game object pixel size, this is. Okay, so currently it is 554.9 and 264. You can change it. Okay, you can change it like 800 by 800, so it will be a square, or 300 by 800. So this you can change. Okay, this you can change, and later on, if you zoom here, you can see something here. These are the anchor points. These are the anchor points. Okay, so what does the anchor point do? The anchor point tells the UI to follow this particular point. Okay, to stay within this point. Okay, so if the UI gets changed, okay, so how much pixels needs to be adjusted is, basically simply it tells the image or the component or the game object, whichever game object has the rect transform, it will tell to resize based on that, resize or position based on that. Okay, so how to change those anchor points? These are the four points of the anchor. Okay, these are the 4 points. If you want to change those anchor points, if you click on center, you can change the entire the anchor point of that image. Okay, if you click one edge of the anchor point, you are setting the boundaries that this particular image might scale based on the size of the canvas. Okay, so in order to have a particular game, okay, so let's simplify, we'll go step by step. Okay, so what we are going to do is, this anchor point, we just simply put it here. Just put it here on the corner. So what will happen, the image will follow this particular point. Okay, so image will follow this particular point here. Okay, so image will follow this particular point here, irrespective to the size of the screen. Okay, so if I change the aspect ratio, it will stay here, stay on this particular point, it will stay over here irrespective of that. Okay, and quickly, if you want to change the the anchor points, so this is top left anchor point. Okay, this is the top left anchor point. So in order to show you in a very easier way so you can understand, I'll create another game object. Okay, which also shows its width and height again, so it is an empty game object. Okay, so it shows width and height, which is 100 by 100. Okay, so if I change the aspect ratio, it will stay the same, 100 by 100. Okay, but I want to have this game object, this game object size to be size of the screen, entire size of the screen. So what I'll do is I'll change this the um, you know the anchor points to screen. Okay, so it is 100%. It is 100% now, so it will stretch 100%. Okay, so this game object is now 100% big. Okay, uh, so it will reflect on that game object based on that size. So now if you see, the exact size is still 100 by 100, but what I want is I'll also expand this. Okay, I'll also expand it to screen by screen. You can see the boundaries of the canvas. I'll expand it. You can go beyond that, but we don't need that for now because it won't get rendered outside the canvas. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll simply put image inside that game object. Okay, so the image is child of that game object. Okay, so the image will still having the anchor point of top left. So now what will happen if I change the size of game object? The image is following this point, this anchor point. The image is following this anchor point, this one. So if I change the size of the game object, you know so it is following this particular point. Why it is important? Because while working with the UX, you need to manage and make sure it should look almost identical on all devices with different aspect ratios. So for those things, few elements needs to be positioned in a certain manner that it doesn't needs to be get. So for some scenarios, the image doesn't needs to get stretched, or it should not change the position. Okay, it should not change the layout which you are expecting. Right, so this is why we have multiple um, you know uh, formats for these anchor points. All right, so if you want to see the anchor point, just simply click on that image or the game object, whichever it is, inside the canvas. You will be able to see the anchor points, but sometimes you might not be able to see. Make sure you have this enabled, this one. Okay, if it is not visible, try stretching it. Okay, try stretching it like this. You will see at the end, you will see gizmos button. Okay, these are the gizmos button. So gizmos is something you can see. Okay, and make sure this is enabled. Okay, if I disable it, you won't be able to see anything. Okay, you won't be able to see anything. Make sure your gizmos is on. By default it stays on, but by chance if you have turned this off, it should be on. Okay, so you'll be able to see the gizmos. Okay, so these are the gizmos. So gizmos is the points where the editor points where it helps us to um, control the game objects as we want, to leverage those things. Okay, so make sure this is on in the editor window, scene window. Okay, and and if and so so if you still didn't able to see, like you're finding it difficult to find the anchor point, so there is a even simpler way. Just simply go to inspector. On that selected image, you will see the anchor point over here, top left. Okay, so what if you made a mistake? You didn't want it to have it on top left, you wanted to have it on top right. Okay, and you also want to move that image to right, top right. Okay, with just one simple click. Okay, so there is a hack for it. Just simply click on it. Okay, and click over here. So what will happen, the anchor point will quickly snap to the top right, but I want that image to also get snapped to the top right. Okay, so for you, for that thing, what I'll do is I'll click option, and for Windows user it will be alt button. Okay, I'll click alt or option button for Mac. You can see if I'm clicking it, it is telling that game object should also get snapped to that anchor point. Okay, so if I click if I keep holding the alt button or option button on the Mac and I click again, it will snap to the top right directly. Okay, similarly for others, bottom left, center left, or bottom center, and bottom right. Okay, so now it is going till here because this game object size is till here. If I expand it, sure, it will go to the left. Again, going back to the image, again clicking on it, clicking option or alt on Windows, and this is center. Okay, this is center. Now what if I want to have the image stretched out totally? Okay, stretched out only on the horizontal axis. So again I'll click alt, and you can see here this is horizontal stretch. You can see stretch over here, it's horizontal stretch. So what I'll do is, by holding alt button, I'll click here, it will stretch it. It will stretch the entire game object or image from left to right. Okay, from boundaries to boundaries. Okay, so if I change the parent of it, it will follow the parent. So it will follow the boundaries of the parent, and if image is outside, like just on the root of the canvas, okay, so it won't change again because we need to do it once again. So now it will follow the size of canvas. Okay, so again I put image under the game object. Okay, so it is going beyond the boundaries. So again I'll click option or alt in Windows and stretch. It will snap to that position. Okay, so if I now change the parent, it will follow it. Okay, irrespective to the size, it will still follow. If you want the image to be um, a bit larger, from vertically, you can change it as you want. Okay, as per your needs. Currently the image you are seeing is blank because we didn't provide any image inside it. So image is blank, so you will just see the white color. Okay, and this won't change. Okay, this, if I change the height, it won't change. Okay, the height won't change. For that, if you want to change the height as well, okay, what I'll do is simply again click alt button or option button on Mac. It will do a full screen. So this is a full screen image now. So it is basically following the parent's boundaries. So if I change the parent, the child image will also follow with the parent. Alright, so this is it. And again we can do the same with the parent as well. This is the parent object, I'll just rename it for your understanding. So if I want parent to be full screen, okay, so I'll click on here. So the parent anchors are stretched entirely, and even image uh, you know anchors are stretched entirely. So 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 it results in blocking the entire screen, the image. So you can see entire image has been blocking on the main screen. Okay, so this is how you do with the UI, and these are the basic thing. We'll work even more with the UI, how to control those UI. And there are certain things in UI like text and other things. You can try it out. Okay, so here you can see, if you right click and under UI, you can see a lot many things like image, text, raw image, panel, toggle, slider, scroll bar, scroll view, buttons, drop down, input field where let users type, give their inputs as a string, and canvas, you know this canvas. Also make sure this event systems, you must not delete it when you have a canvas, because in order to have an interaction with the inputs, event system helps us to interact with buttons. If event system is not there, the canvas interactions will stop working, like none of the buttons will work. So make sure you also have an event system with the canvas. Unity automatically provides the input system, event system with the canvas. Okay, so no need to bother with that. Also you can have multiple canvases, and and can have one event system. Make sure you have one event system when you have a canvas. You can have multiple canvases inside inside the scene. You can control based on that, whichever it is required. Also you must make sure, if you have especially if you are targeting on mobile devices and on the tablet, okay, side by side. So you must also change UI scale mode to constant pixel size, from constant pixel size to scale with screen size. So it is a better practice, because each time the screen size changes, it also you know scales down the UI. Okay, maintaining the perfect aspect ratio which we want, and it helps you know avoid the UI overlapping, or UI jumbling, all those kind of things. So whichever target UI which you are preferring, make sure you have a reference resolution with it as well. For us, if I'm targeting this, so I'll write similar with this size, 1920 by 1080. So X is for horizontal and Y is for vertical. Okay, every time. So every UI, whichever aspect ratio you will be targeting, make sure you also write with that, and then change UI scale mode with scale with screen size. Okay, so it won't make your life messy if you have this settings on. This is a good practice. Okay, so we'll continue more adding images, adding input fields, working with scrolling system and those kind of things on the next lecture. All right, so any doubts till now in the UI? Hello?
No, sir.
All right.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes. Yes, tell me.
Sir, when we create
Hmm.
or when we give solid color to the background in the main camera.
Yes.
So it gives the background like if we take it red.
If
Now, what's the difference between UI and that? Because in UI also we are creating image and giving colors.
So, uh, so camera. So actually, what actually happens is, if you see here, if you see if you see over here, this is the camera. Okay, this is the camera. Okay, which is showing this thing, and if I zoom it out, like really zoom out way far, this is the canvas size. Okay, this is the canvas. So what really happens is, the canvas always renders top of the the other elements, which can be inside the scene, which camera sees. Okay, so it is kind of a layer. Okay, so direct layer above the camera. Okay, so if I change anything on the camera, if I change color of the camera, okay, so it won't affect anything over here. Okay, it won't affect anything over here because UI is top of the camera rendering. Okay, camera rendering process. Okay, so UI is always top on the layer. So if you know Photoshop,
Sir,
by layering.
sir, I was saying that
Hmm.
in main camera in the environment section,
Mm-hmm.
when we give background type at solid
Mm-hmm.
and give the color,
Mm-hmm.
like you have given white right now,
Mm-hmm.
so it will change the color of the background, which eventually it will be seen to the user on the phone screen. तो सर दिखता क्या है सर, यूआई की कलर दिखेगा या फिर इसका कलर दिखेगा, मतलब देखेगा कि यूजर को देखेगा क्या सामने स्क्रीन पे, दोनों में अंतर क्या है, दोनों में काम तो सेम हो रहा है.
अगर सी दिस इज द इमेज, अगर मैंने फुल स्क्रीन रखा है, and if there is a camera, there is a cube with it. Okay, there is a cube. Okay, there is a cube. If I turn off the uh, canvas, I can see the cube. Okay, so now if I want to change entire screen, the white color, okay, the entire screen of white color, okay, but just canvas, not by main camera. Okay, you won't be able to see the cube. Why you want to change the color of the from the canvas rather than from the main camera? So that's the thing. This is what I was telling. Rather than changing the background, okay, rather than changing the background, you can have an entire image, okay, to show only UI elements which you don't want to have it on the screen. Okay, maybe if you want to have, your question might be that rather than this image which is black, okay, and this image should be shorter, sure, you can work with that as well. Okay, but what if you have a 3D elements or background 2D elements, that might obstruct with your UI. But again, it depends on game to game, whichever
Sir, what is recommended there?
for me, like if you want to show a UI, okay, of a UI like this, like let's say recommended, what I use, we generally use, if you want to show your background games as well. So what we'll have a faded thing. Let's say this is the entire thing, image, okay, and we'll reduce the alpha a bit, and this will be our content inside this. Like let's say game over screen here with the title.
Sir, inside UI can we integrate any kind of video?
Yes, absolutely, you can include videos, You can also include audios as well if you want. Okay, so those are all those components. You can also, you know, render anything separate from another camera as well. Like let's say two persons are dancing over here and two persons are dancing over here. Okay, both you want to show in particular 1-2 frames, you can show that as well.
Okay.
So it has endless possibilities with, you know, Unity. So yeah, so
Thank you.
see, if you see, this is it. 100. So this is how we show generally, even though the color is different. Those kind of things. All right,
Yes, sir.
any doubts now, anyone? All right then. So on next lectures we'll work more on the UI. Yeah, and it was good 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 lecture today. Also, mention your, you know, roll numbers and attendance, and you are free to go once you are done with that. Okay.
सर मंडे से मेरे एंड समय में क्लास नहीं कर पाऊंगा.
श्योर, मैं वीडियोस अपलोड डालता रहूँगा. ऑलराइट, दैट्स इट. इतने लोग ने अटेंडेंस किया है.
See, the link is not working for the recorded lectures.
Sorry.
The link for the recorded lectures, the link to the GitHub is not working. It's not found. I don't know if it's working for other people as well.
Let me check. Let me check.
Okay.